Okay, great. Thanks, Lisa. Okay. Um, I just got to pin this. I'll let you see if you could pin it because the text is over there. You probably got to hit OK. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off with the soup. Much better, Gabby. Great. So Gabby's with me. Gabby's our sous chef. I'm Jim. All right. And we're going to do a cauliflower bean, tofu, and mushroom soup. I'll talk more about it while it's simmering, but let's begin with it in the interest of time. So, what we did ahead of time, and you have the recipe that is posted. So, we took our onions and our leeks and a portion, half the amount of mushrooms, and we're put it on a low flame with a lid, and we're sweating it in a pot. So to sweat would actually mean you're not sauteing, you're omitting the oil. Now you could add oil in here to do that, but sweating is a way to cook something without browning it, right? And so that's what we did. We're sweating all those ingredients together. Okay. And then now that they're already sweated, that probably took just shy of 15 minutes to do that because you do that on a low flame, right? All the moisture is going to come out from the mushrooms and it's going to cook with the onions. You could add a little water if you want to speed it up. You could do that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add our cauliflower to the pot. Okay. And then we're going to add our vegetable broth to the pot. And then we're going to add our beans. Okay. And we got our garlic that goes in there as well. And then we're going to turn this on. And then Gabby will put a lid just to speed it up on it. Okay. And then Gabby will watch this. Now, the protein, if we wanted to add more protein and calories instead of using the vegetable broth, we could use soy milk, which would give you more calories and more protein instead of broth, could put in soy milk. Or you could use another alternative milk if you wanted to. We're also going to get um, added protein. So when we do, if you want to add tofu to that, you could do that as well when we go to blend it, which we're going to do, or you could omit that, but the tofu is going to add protein and calories. So you're getting all that extra protein and calories from the legumes and from the soy product. You could add more soy if you wanted to use soy milk instead of vegetable broth, as Lisa was saying. Okay. So when we first did this mushroom, and this is a tip, or the soup actually, we were doing a cauliflower bean and tofu soup. And when we did it, we tried tasting it, and it goes like it needs something else. And so then we added the mushrooms to it. And that's what you could do at home. When you think it needs something else, let's say if you wanted to add more protein, you could even add green peas from a package to there if you wanted to do that and blend it in just like we're doing with the cauliflower. So it's a way to be innovative on your own. And you could use different types of legumes if you wanted to. So we got this one here. This one has no salt added. They're great northern beans, but you could use a navy bean if you wanted to instead of a great northern bean or a cannellini bean. So you could do that as well. Okay, so we got that simmering. While that's cooking, okay, we're going to jump to another recipe and we're going to do the smoothie that Lisa was referring to. Okay, so this one here is going to be a banana oaty smoothie, but we're going to add almond butter to it as well to make it have more calories, to make it more flavorful, and add more protein. Okay, so we have oatmeal that was already pre-cooked. Okay, and so you can do overnight oats, or let's say if you did overnight oats and you had leftover oatmeal, you could use some of the leftover oatmeal to make the smoothie. Okay, so we have this half a cup right here, okay, of cooked oats. And then what I'd like to do is add the oats before the milk, only because that way it won't splash on you. All right. And so then now what we're doing, we have a cup of almond milk. Okay. So when I go to buy the almond milk, actually, if you get, I'll show you two kinds. And so instead of getting like the silk or, one of, almond breeze or something like that, there's why I get this organic Califia almond milk, or here's one called almond milk because there's only three ingredients in it: almonds, water, and salt. But it actually has more calories and protein because there's more almonds in it, right? And it doesn't have some of those other added ingredients that almond breeze and almond silk has. So I wanted to show you these two as well. Okay, then we got some vanilla that we're going to put in. And then now we got almond butter. So it's really that easy to do. Okay. Uh, and then you don't, if you wanted to mix almond butter with peanut butter, you could do that if you, or substitute it if you actually wanted to. If you wanted to use like cashew butter, you could do that as well. Or a seed butter if nuts were an issue to, if nuts are an issue, right? And if you have a blender that has a variable speed, it's good to start on slow. So I'll show you. This is going, it's real quiet, it's slow, and then you could ramp it up like so. And it's that easy to do. So once we ramp it up, then you get a good immersion of all the ingredients together. And as you could see here, now you got a really nice smoothie. Okay. And that would be, it would have, and you can make this thicker by adding more oatmeal if you wanted to. You could fortify by adding twice as much of almond butter if you wanted to, or peanut butter. So it's a way for you to be innovative on your own. The recipe that we gave you is basically just a simple blueprint. You could easily modify this. You could omit the vanilla, right? And what's missing on here is we need a frozen banana now. So I'm going to show you, we're going to take a frozen banana and we're going to add that to give it even more flavor, more density and thickness. So now we got a banana. Okay. If you're going to take a banana and you're going to, Gabby, we got something that says, oh, Dr. Yamato wants to join. Okay, let's join. Okay, so now we're going to take the banana. When you have a banana that's ripe, you want to take it, peel it before you freeze it. Okay. So this is what you'll have. Now you can make it without the banana because some people don't like the bananas, right? But to make it with the banana, okay, once you got it mixed, you just throw your banana in there. All right. And now you do it the exact same thing. Start off slow, bring it in. And it goes that quick. Okay, so you could do it with the banana, you could do it without the banana. Um, you could use cream of wheat if you didn't want to use oatmeal. And now you could see the difference, how thick it is. And it's like a milkshake, right? So now you could see how thick it is. Okay. So that's that one. Let's see how our soup is doing. Okay. So okay, we're going to go ahead and do the third recipe. Gabby, we're going to crank this up. I got it on high. Okay, and I'm going to go into the next recipe and then we'll come back to the soup. All right. The other thing I wanted to show you real quickly on the soup too is leeks. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the leeks, but sometimes onions could be strong. So that's why we were sweating it. When you take the onion and you sweat it or saute it, the sulfur in that onion goes away. Think of it this way. If you took an onion raw and you go to peel it, that part that makes you cry, that's makes you tear up, that's the sulfur that's in the onion. And when you apply heat and cook it, that sulfur dissipates. So anytime you make a soup, it's a really good idea, and a great thing to do is to cook that onion at least to the point of translucency where it becomes clear. When you cook it, when it becomes clear, that sulfur goes away. Poof, it's gone, right? If you continue to apply heat and cook that onion further, then you start to caramelize the naturally occurring sugars, becomes brown like a grilled onion, it becomes sweet. So it's a way to sweeten a soup. That's how they would make French onion soup. But if you, another species in the allium family is a leek. So if you ever heard of, vichyssoise, that's cold potato and leek soup. They're more mild. They got a great flavor. When you go to purchase and buy one, ideally you want to get one that's got the longest part from here to here. That's what you want. And a small green part, because this is the part that you're going to use from here to here. But they they're very sandy. So what you want to do when you go to take that, what you would do is you would take this part, you cut this green part off, right? Then you take this and it looks like a cat's eye. And I'll show you, I'll try to come up close so you could see. See, this looks like a cat's eye. So and you could even see that dark, that's part of the sand that's in there. And so you would cut it down this way, lengthwise against the cat's eye, right? And when you do that, what's going to happen is you'll end up with this. You want to keep the root part attached. So you see how the root is attached, but we cut it lengthwise with the cat's eye. Now I could go into the sink over there and I run this underwater and I fan the folds just like this while water's running under it. When that happens, it cleans it. So you could see how these folds are already nice and clean. That's what you want to do. Now, once you got it like that, right, then you could go ahead, cut the root off like so, and then you would make julienne strips like so, just like that, all the way across. Then you take your strips and cut them crosswise like so, and then you get your diced leeks. And that's what we'd want to do. Okay, so we'll put that there, and you would mix that with your onions, or you could omit the onions and just do it all a leek soup if you wanted to, right? It would give it a more mild flavor, and it would have it wouldn't be as astringent as the onion might be. Okay, it's really a great flavor for the soup. The other thing I want to share with you are mushrooms. So when you buy mushrooms, there's a saying in the culinary world, good in will help you get good out. So I got two mushrooms here. When you look in the package, if you see this mushroom that's open like this, see where you could see through the gills? That means it's already losing moisture. So it's starting to dehydrate, right? It's an older mushroom. When you got the mushroom that is, you don't see any openings, how it's all closed up, then you know they're fresh mushrooms because you can't, it's still retaining a lot of moisture. And that's what you want to have. Because as soon as this happens, it starts to lose moisture more quickly. And it'll just rapidly, get older and lose moisture. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Okay. Now, let's go into our last recipe and then we'll come back to our soup. Okay, so thank you, Gabby.
And it's going.
Okay. Oh, it's going out good.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Okay. So now we're going to make a chia pudding. All right. So basically to make the chia pudding, it's kind of like a lot like when we did a vegan shake. Okay. We actually for those that are watching, if you ever have appointments at the Taussig Cancer Center when there's the high tea, we pass out some samples ahead of time so you could see and try this. That'd be a way for you to taste it. And we're going to do our next one in December 1st to promote our December program. So it's usually in the lobby of the Taussig Cancer Center. We haven't decided the exact time, but Bria, as it gets closer to date, you can contact her and she can let you know what the exact time would be. Okay, let's begin. All right, so we got all our mise en place. We got our unsweetened almond milk. We got our whole chia seed. We got our almond butter, and we got our vanilla. It's that easy to do. Okay. And then Gabby, all I need is my banana, yeah, for this one here. All right. Okay. So now the almond milk goes in like so. Okay. And by the way, when you go to do the bananas, you want to make sure you got a ripe banana. Okay. Because if the banana is not ripe, it won't be as good. Okay, so we're going to break our banana. And this doesn't have to be a frozen banana. This could be, just a regular banana, long as it's ripe. Doesn't have to be frozen, but it's a great thing to do when you got bananas that overripe. Instead of throwing them away, wrap them and put them in the freezer because there's so many good things you could do with them. And then we're going to add, so we got our almond milk, we got our banana, we're going to put in our vanilla, and we're going to put in our almond butter. What I'm not putting in now is the chia seed. Okay, that's going to come at the end. All right. And I'll give you, there's two ways that we could do that. Okay, so now we're going to take this, we're just going to blend it. And basically, this is the great vegan shake. It's delicious. This is outstanding. Okay. Okay, that's the shake. Now you got two ways you could put that chia seed in. Okay, one, we could take it. Thank you, Gabby. We could take it and put it in here and just, for a nanosecond, just to mix it in. But I'll show you even an easier way to do it. Because if we put the chia seed in here now, when we go to try to scrape it out of here, the chia seed will have a tendency to stick to the side of the container, right? So another way you could do it is you could just take your vegan shake, or the smoothie, whatever you want to refer to it as, and put that in a bowl just like so. Now put the chia seed in and mix it in really well. Okay, because it'll be easier, I think, for you to get this out of here than it would be scraping it out of the blender. All right, and then you could have either stemware like this, or let's say if you just have some glasses at home like so. Okay, these we were done earlier. Okay, and then all you got to do is take it, put it into your stemware like so. See, but now you'll be able to scrape this and get it all out and put it into multiple containers, right? And so that's all you do. You put it in, cover it, let it chill. After it chills, you got a really nice chia pudding. The more chia seed that you put inside there, the thicker it's going to get. Okay. Um, so we'll let you play with that one. And you could do multiple variations as well. It doesn't have, it could be peanut butter, the cashew butter, the same thing with the banana odi. And, or you can make a great chia pudding just using berries and fruits, right? It's a good idea to have a little bit of an unsweetened almond milk or something like that to add to it, just to give it some going. But when you're going to add berries or fruits, you also got to know that you're going to have moisture come out from there, and you just going to have to play with the amount of fruit to the amount of chia seed. A way to maybe gauge that would be so you could get an idea how chia seed will how it'll thicken, if you took a tablespoon of water and you put it in a little cup, you could take a teaspoon of chia seed, put it in the tablespoon, because there's 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon, and you'll see how thick that gets once it swells. Might take about 15, no more than 20 minutes, and it'll get thick and swell. And then you'll see how much chia seed to add to how much liquid. And at least it's a little bit of an indicator for you. Okay, at least with water. Okay, so now, all right, we got our soup. We're looking good. Okay, so our we have our cauliflower, our beans in here. We got mushrooms in here. We got our leeks in here. Okay, I'm just going to move this cutting board, Gabby, to set on the table. Oh, great. That's fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we want to blend this and puree it, right? But here's the thing, this is really hot. So if you take it and you put it in a blender, okay, if you go, the blender that I had, if you put it in the blender and you put this cover on top, steam is still going to come out of here. And if it didn't have a vent, it could even pop out, right? So if I had, can you give me a clean one, Gabby? Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So some people that don't have an immersion blender, they have these, a regular blender. If you put it in here while it's hot, steam will come out, steam comes out of here. And if this didn't have a vent, this thing could pop because it builds up pressure, right? So if you are going to use a blender, a good thing to do is to take some of this soup out and put it in a low profile pan and let it cool down. And see all the steam coming from it? You could see the steam just coming from this pan. Can you imagine how hot it'd be in here? It could burn people. So you want to let this cool down. Once it cools down, then you could put it inside your blender and blend it without the risk of getting burned, okay? So that's one way, we would advise. If you got a lot of soup to do, then you could get a bigger pan to do it. If you don't have a big one like that, then I would suggest getting multiple small ones. You could have 2 or 3 small ones, spread it out if you want to cool it down quickly. But the idea is to cool it before you blend it, okay, for safety reasons. Okay, now, if you have an immersion blender, that's what this is. So this is an immersion blender, okay? And it has a wand, and what it does, it'll blend. This one's got a variable speed, and I could blend this really, really quickly, okay? And so if you're going to do it, you got to be really careful not to lift this up above the water line, because the way it works is there's the blade on the bottom. It has these indentations on this bottom piece here. And what it does, it'll suck everything in, and it creates a vortex going inside this pot. But it's pretty shallow because, as you could see, I don't have a lot in here. So if I take this pot and I tilt it and I put this wand directly in the crotch of the tilt, like so, now it's deeper. And so now it'll blend. So see how chunky this soup is right now? You could see it's pretty chunky, right, in the video? This will go real quick. And in less than a minute, this will be pureed. Okay, we're pretty good there. Okay, so now we're going to take this out, set it down over there. Now, you also have the option when you do it this way, you can make it real smooth or semi-smooth, or a little bit chunky with particulate. That's up to you. Now, we took out half the mushrooms in the recipe and did them separately to save for a garnish on top. So I'll show you why. Or your option is you could just do all the mushrooms and make it all pureed. Okay. So we would just take it now, right? Oh, that's right, the tofu. Thanks for reminding me, Gabby. So that's the one thing I didn't put in was the tofu yet. Thanks, Gabby. Okay, so now look, now we put the tofu in, which by the way, what I wanted to mention was that you could buy tofu two ways. This one is regular, but if you're gonna put it in here, this is the one right here. You want to use silken tofu, right? So silken's the one you want because it's real creamy and it'll smooth out. This one's going to be like real firm and coarse. So you want to make sure you got silken tofu, and this will blend in so easy. You'll see right now. Okay. Okay. So I got that chunk. I just tilt it and we just put the tofu. Look how it creams it out. And there we go. That's our tofu. It's already done in there. It only takes but a second to do. Okay, because it was silken. It'll go, and that's the same one you would use for a smoothie. So now we got our tofu, right? That added the extra protein, the calories. Okay, we put that in. Here's our soup. And then if you want to garnish it with the sliced mushrooms, thanks, Gabby. Okay, so now we got our mushrooms and you got sweated, or you could saute them. So like Lisa said, if you want to get more calories, you could just cook them in oil, right? You could have did everything in oil if you wanted. And when we're done, okay, this is what our soup will be like, okay? And that's okay, Gabby. I got one here. And so when we're done, here's our soup. So cauliflower, bean, tofu, onion and leek, mushroom soup. You can see how thick it is, okay? Let it cool down before you puree it a little bit, okay? You can always warm it back up in the pot. That's the safer way to do it, all right? And so those are our three recipes. We got our shake, our banana oatmeal, our smoothie, and we got our chia pudding. And there's our spoon. And so happy to take anybody's questions. You could always throw them in the chat. If anybody had anything real quick, I could probably do that. Otherwise, next up will be no questions. You don't see. And then otherwise, next up is Dr. You made us. So Lisa, if no one has any, wait a minute. I was Griffin, my favorite color and dairy would. Do you have recipes without cruciferous veggies and dairy? Okay, so the question is, do you have recipes without cruciferous veggies and dairy? So this didn't have any dairy in it really because, you know, we made it with vegetable broth and we added tofu. So you got this creaminess from the cauliflower. You could actually make a cream sauce out of cauliflower. You can make a cauliflower cream just by taking cauliflower and cooking it either in broth or in, you know, like the almond milk if you wanted to, right? And mix tofu in there, and you could have a cream sauce out of cauliflower. And the tofu would make it high in calories and protein. So you could do that. Instead of doing cruciferous veggies, you could make this soup. If you wanted to do it, let's say, you know, what a carrot soup, you could do that as well, right? You know, so just take a vegetable that isn't cruciferous and you're able to do that. If you wanted to make like a cream of tomato soup, you could do the same thing and make it like with a cream of tomato. Right now we got tomatoes in the garden. You could take tomatoes, do the cauliflower, do everything we did and just omit the cauliflower and just substitute it with tomatoes, right? And you'll have a cream soup that'll have a nice little pink color to it.
And
So
if I could add in, In the toolkit for today's presentation, there is a booklet that goes over a variety of recipes for soup, smoothies, and supplements. And some of them in there will not contain the cruciferous vegetables, and or it will give you additional tips on what to use as a base that would be dairy free. Specifically with smoothies, you can do, like Jim mentioned, a dairy free milk, or you can always use juice, and or even though I said before water contains no calories or protein, you could always use that as a base for your liquid and then just add additional higher calorie, higher protein products.
Yeah, right. Good point, Lisa. Yeah, and like when, so if you are going to use the fruits and you didn't have any juice or something, just enough liquid to get that going so you could smooth it, whether it's water or whatever. Absolutely. And just like you froze the bananas, you could freeze the blueberries or strawberries or berries as well, because then you'll have a nice cold beverage. You could blend those when they're frozen as well. So, okay, what we'll do is, Lisa, if you don't, I'm done on my part. If anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to do it. Or Lisa, uh,
Yeah, we could turn it over to Dr. Umeda
uh,
now.
okay, good. So now we'll hand it over to Dr. Ameda.
Great, thank you, Jim. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So great to see you, everyone. My name is Dr. Umeda, one of the staff physicians from the Wellness Department, Integrative Medicine. Just need some few minutes. I want to share something about, we call it integrative oncology. We'll call it holistic medicine or integrative medicine, but let me share the slides with you first. I wanted to show if anybody are not familiar with the integrative medicine. And let me try to And I assume you can see my screen as a full screen for the presentation. I only have these slides today. So those who are not familiar with the integrative medicine or holistic medicine. So holistic medicine, simply speaking, it's like we do something natural or something natural type things to support you. So what is integrative medicine? If you see on the left side upper corner, the area, it's a patient-centered, evidence-informed field of the comprehensive care, cancer care, that uses the lifestyle modification, mind-body practices, and the natural products alongside with the conventional cancer treatment. So we see really variety of disease, pretty much everything. We see non-cancer disease such as IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, or migraine, anxiety, depressions, headache, joint pain, muscle pain, fibromyalgia. Sometimes we see people who has a long COVID fatigue syndrome patients. Also, we see the cancer patient who are we trying to support you physically and mentally during the cancer journey, during the cancer treatment, and also after the cancer treatment. So, example of the cancer center with the large integrative medicine services, for example, MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, and Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York, Dana-Farber Cancer Center in Boston, and also cancer treatment centers of America, which have multiple area. For example, somewhere in Arizona, I thought in Arizona, and also like a Chicago, like that. So what we do here is, like I mentioned, something natural thing. So for example, or if you see on the right upper corner, what we can do, we have nutritional counseling because some people might have the question about what is the good food for me during the treatment and after the treatment. Although it depends on your condition and it depends on, let's say if you are receiving the chemotherapy, how bad it is, how is your appetite. Our recommendation could be different time to time, depending on that. We also have yoga teachers and also the meditation program. We have someone called mind body psychotherapist who does the meditation, deep breath technique, and also someone who can do music therapy or anything to relax you, relieving the stress. We also have exercise program, and also we have chiropractic treatment professional, massage therapist, and also we have acupuncturist. If you're not familiar with the acupuncture, this is to use a needle based on the traditional Oriental medicine. So this is completely different from the modern scientific medicine. As you might know, the acupuncture has a long history, like 2,000, 3,000 years in India, China, but they use the needles. But the needles are very, very thin, like your hair. So they put needle on your body surface, but needles are super, super thin. So you don't feel pain. You're just being pushed or some bump feeling. So that's the acupuncture. There are multiple, actually, regarding the acupuncture, there are multiple research data evidence that if you see on the left lower corner, the growing evidence for the cancer patient. So for example, for pain or fatigue, insomnia, these are the option listed here is all based on the research data. For example, pain management, acupuncture could be beneficial to relieve the pain. Massage therapy, maybe even meditation can be beneficial. For the fatigue, exercise could be beneficial. Yoga and also acupuncture be good. Let's say if you move into the left, let me see the nausea, vomiting, neuropathy, which is the numbness, tingling in your hands or feet. Acupressure could be beneficial, and also dry mouth, acupuncture might be beneficial. Hot flashes, acupuncture, hypnosis, and the yoga could be beneficial. So as you can see, for example, acupuncture has been widely researched for the multiple condition, and it was kind of considered to be effective. Well, not for everyone. The effectiveness is different from person to person, but compared from the placebo group, the acupuncture has been beneficial. They were able to reduce the bothering symptom and trying to relieve the your everyday quality of life. Again, during your treatment and also after the treatment. So these are the example, but I wanted to let you know that we always do everything evidence-based or clinical data based approach. So if you're interested, and in my experience, when I see the cancer patient, everyone has a different questions. Also, again, if you go to the right upper corner, let's say vitamin, some people wants to hear about any vitamin counseling. Like there are so many vitamins or natural products out there. If you research on the internet, there's so much confusing information. So one of my role is to sort it out, which means this is good to do, this is not good to do. Especially if you are on the chemotherapy or immunotherapy or hormone treatment, something to do with the hormone, the certain natural products is not appropriate to use together because there's a drug-herb interaction. We have to avoid it. So sorting out, that's my role. So everything natural and everyone has a different question. Some people wants to talk about the diet or food or hear more about what's the possible benefit of the acupuncture. Some people wants to talk about the yoga program or overall integrative medicine, holistic medicine program. So if you're interested in, we accept the one-on-one appointment. My name is here, listed on the right lower corner, the area. The phone number 216-448-4325. This is our Department of the Wellness and the Preventive Medicine. My practice is I do in-person and also virtual. For in-person, I work at Willoughby Hills and also main campus, both in the Towsip Cancer Center Institute and also the Glickman building, which is the Q building, Q as in Quebec. Q building, second floor. So for example, Q building, I work at there every Monday. Towsip Cancer Institute on the second floor of the palliative medicine. I do that only once a month, only for the first week of the Monday, only for the morning. But still, I do that once a month. And also we accept the virtual meeting. So where to make an appointment. Yes, the location it doesn't matter. Yes, in person or virtual, it's up to you. But if you could just call this number, yes, you can schedule appointment with me. So that's just a brief introduction about the integrative medicine for the cancer patients. So I will pause, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Dr. Umeda, someone asked in the chat, is acupuncture the same as dry needling?
Correct. Yeah, thank you for your question. And they are different. Dry needling is, I don't practice acupuncture, so, but I think I have some good understanding about the acupuncture. Dry needling, they do not insert the needle. They like a pushing or some stimulation to the something called a trigger point. Acupuncture, they will use the needle. They will actually insert the needle onto your body surface. But as I said, the needles are very super thin, so usually you don't feel pain. Even you are taking the blood thinner, usually most of the cases it's okay. But also I can do some screening, or if you have any question, we can sort it out. But most of the people acupuncture be good. So that's the difference, insert in the needle or not, that's the difference. Another difference is where to put the needle. My understanding, the dry needling is if you have a pain, like a neck area, they put the needle or do the pressure things directly to the pain area. Acupuncture could be different. They call it's a meridian line. So from head to toe, there are about 360 acupuncture points, and there are 6 lines running through your body on the right side of the body, and also 6 different lines on the left side. So total of 12 lines. So there are certain points connected to each other. So let's say there is a pain in your like a temple or neck area. If this point is connected to the certain point in your toes, the acupuncture put the needle, insert the needle in your toe, little toe, and that will do some just beneath your skin. There's a kind of inside your body network. So they will some kind of stimulation. So that's a very explanation for the using a layman's term. So the mechanism is also different. Where to put the needle, please don't ask me where to put the needle. That's the acupuncturist professional, that's the expertise, so I cannot explain anymore. So, but I hope that was my explanation was good enough to explain the difference between the two.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Umeda.
Yes, you're welcome.
Does anyone else have any additional questions for any of us? You can either unmute yourself or put anything in the chat. Jim, Gabby, where can we find the foods that the chefs made today?
So, cauliflower and the tofu, the cauliflower, the mushrooms, I mean, they're pretty much in any store, even Mark sells them. The shiitakes, you might have to be a little harder to find. We have both shiitakes and button mushrooms in there, but most stores will have fresh cauliflower in their grocer section, and mushrooms. Leeks, most of them have leeks now. Giant Eagle, you're better off at least like a main chain if you went to Giant Eagle, Trader Joe's, something like that. Even Heinen's has those. And Mark's has onions for sure, all that. And sometimes they even have leeks as well. But most stores will have all those ingredients. And now the only thing different might be the tofu. So Cleveland tofu, I don't see it every place, but we didn't use it in our recipes. I just brought it up as an example. The other ones that might be different will be the vegetable broth, okay? So like this one here, Bonafide, you might find at some stores. This one that comes in a jar, I only found this one at Giant Eagle. Okay, there's a gentleman who would make soups down in Cleveland. It's called zoupbroth.com. It's delicious. It's a lot more money than this one though. So depending what store you go to, a lot of them carry different brands of vegetable broth. You got to find one you like. But of all the ones that I tried, that my two favorite is one by Trader Joe's or this Bonafide over here. I happen to get this one at Heinen's, but I think they sell it at other stores. And the other option you have could always go on Amazon. Amazon sells non-dairy milk. There's times when Heinen's didn't have something I wanted, you know, like the soy. This is the soy milk that I always use right here. Anytime I get soy milk, I get unsweetened Eden organic soy because the only ingredients in here is water and organic soybeans. That's all that's in here. And for a long time, Heinen's didn't have the plain one. I ordered it on Amazon. They bring it right to your house, right? So you always have that option.
Aldi, depending on where you shop too, Aldi does have tofu and unsweetened almond milk, and they also have a variety of broths. So that can be an option too, depending on where you shop or what's located near you.
Yep. Good point, Lisa.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to take the silence as no further questions, so that will conclude our presentation today. Thank you all for joining.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bria, do you want to stay on to record? Record. All right, welcome to the Taussig Nutrition and Culinary Medicine program, and thank you for coming today. My name's Lisa. I'm one of the registered dietitians at Taussig, and for today's session, we will be discussing soups and smoothies. First, a few housekeeping items. Please have your microphone silent and place yourself on mute until we enter the question and answers. Please direct your questions to the chat, and we'll answer questions at the end. The goal of today's program is to help cancer patients, survivors, and their families navigate cooking during cancer treatment, to increase confidence in the kitchen, and to answer nutrition and culinary questions with evidence-based explanations, with a specific focus on how to make high calorie and high protein soups and smoothies. We'll begin with a brief nutrition discussion with myself, then get into the recipes and cooking with Chef Jim and Chef Gabby. Please silence your microphones. We are recording the program and want to ensure the recording is free of extra noise so others can watch. When you're healthy, eating enough food to get the nutrients and calories you need is not usually a problem, but when you're being treated for cancer, these things can be hard to do, especially if you have side effects or just don't feel well. Good nutrition is especially important if you have cancer because both the illness and its treatments can change the way you eat. Good nutrition during treatment can help you to feel better, keep up with your energy and strength, maintain your weight and your body's store of nutrients, better tolerate treatment-related side effects, lower your risk of infection, and heal and recover fast. As previously mentioned, our specific focus today is on soups and smoothies, and I will be discussing the nutrition components and how to make higher calorie and higher protein products. So to start off, we will review soups, and soups can be high in nutrients. They can help you to meet your needs for weight maintenance and or weight gain. And they're specifically a good choice if you experience symptoms or side effects such as mouth sores, difficulty chewing or swallowing, cold sensitivity, and or decreased appetite. So how do we make a soup higher in calories? So for the base, we want to choose a base that uses cream or milk. If a product specifically is higher in fat, that means it's more calories for least amount of bites. So using something like cream or milk is going to be higher in fat and therefore be higher in calories. Some additional ingredients that you can add to soups to make them higher calorie would be cream, oil, butter, potatoes, cheese, avocados, whole milk, quinoa, rice, noodles, and so on. Next, we want to figure out how to make a high protein soup. For the base, you can consider using bone broth. Bone broth is has a high content of collagen, protein, and amino acids. Some example of some brand names of bone broth would be Kettle and Fire, Ancient Nutrition, Swanson, or Pacific Foods. There are other options and varieties out there. These are just some to name a few. You can also add ingredients or toppings that are high protein, such as meat, fish, poultry, beans and lentils, cheeses, yogurt, eggs, tofu, beans, quinoa, etc. Another good product to mention is a product we use called Unjury. So it's injury, but with a U instead of an I. And this brand makes savory, high protein soup supplements, so to speak. So they have either packets or scoops of powder that you mix with water, and you can make higher protein soups. So think of it like a traditional protein powder, but it can be specifically added to hot liquids to make a savory soup. Next, we're going to talk about smoothies. So smoothies can be a good source of nutrition if you are struggling with your eating, and the calorie and protein amount can vary depending on what you add to it. I will guide you through making a well-rounded smoothie, starting with step one. So step one, we want to start with a liquid. This could be dairy or dairy-free. And some tips when it comes to the liquids are using higher calorie liquids if you are losing weight and or not eating enough. You can choose plant-based liquids or lactose-free milk if you're lactose intolerant. And we want to try not to use water as your liquid since water doesn't contain any calories or protein. Next, we want to choose a fruit. It's going to be per your preference. Some tips, fruit makes the smoothie sweeter and it adds fiber. And fiber is important for a variety of reasons, specifically helping with your bowels. You can use fresh, frozen, or canned fruits. If the smoothie is too runny, you can add more fruit, tofu, cashews, almonds, avocados, nut butters, canned pumpkin, or Greek yogurt. And if the smoothie on the opposite side is too thick, you can just add more liquids to help thin it out. Step 3 is going to be add more protein. So you can always add protein powders to your smoothies, either whey protein and or a vegetable protein such as a pea protein. Whey protein contains lactose. So if you're lactose intolerant or are unable to tolerate lactose for any other reason, whey protein might not be the best option. Maybe choosing something that has a vegetable protein like a pea protein might be better tolerated. Some examples of protein powders that are reputable and that taste good are Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard, Orgain, Premier Protein, Just Ingredients, Clean Simple Eats, etc. Not only do you need to use protein powders for the protein in your smoothies, but you can also get them from food sources such as tofu, nuts or nut butters, milk, cottage cheese, or yogurt. Some protein tips would be to use Greek yogurt instead of regular yogurt. Greek yogurt's going to contain a little bit more protein than regular yogurt. You want to mix your protein powders with your liquid in a separate cup before blending so that they mix fully. And tofu usually tastes like what you pair with it. And last step would be any add-ins. So the add-ins can help increase calories, amount of fiber, and or vitamins and minerals. Some higher calorie add-ins would be avocado, ice cream, olive oil or coconut oil, honey, nut butters, and powdered or condensed milk. Some higher fiber add-ins would be wheat germ, oats or oatmeal, granola, flaxseed, chia seeds or hemp seeds. And some ways to get some additional vitamins and minerals would be to incorporate leafy greens, carrots, or cucumbers. The recipes that we'll be reviewing today will be a banana oaty recipe, a cauliflower bean tofu and mushroom soup, and a chia seed pudding. So I will now stop sharing my screen and let Chef Jim and Chef Gabby take over.